Thank you very much, Maarten. I just want to share a few reflections on the whole 2 days, not just this last session, which to me, very much embodies the spirit of the development climate days that we've had. I'll pick up on 3 points that have come up during the course of these discussions. One, in the session that Mary Robinson ran earlier today, this issue of how do you connect the grassroots to the international. And in fact, one of the things that we have been doing from IIED has been doing exactly that. We do this event in the COP. This is very much a globally connected event. We also do, every year, an international conference on community-based adaptation at the grassroots. We held it this year in Nepal. Next year in April, it'll be in Kenya, where we get practitioners and researchers and people who are actually doing things on the ground. And it's a very fast-growing community of practice working at community level on adaptation with vulnerable communities who are self-organizing now and doing a lot of things. So this connecting the global to the local is something we very much believe in. The second point I'll make, just to reflect on the remarks that Selwyn just made, I was fortunate enough to be in New York in September, both at the summit as one of the 38 civil society selected individuals, but also at the march a few days early, where I was invited along with the Bangladeshi community in New York to be at the front lines of the march as front lines in climate change, Bangladesh being the front line of tackling climate change. And we had several hundred people from Bangladesh, some from Bangladesh, mostly living in New York, who came out and marched there. And it was a tremendously exhilarating experience. And to me, it brought back my faith in America, because I'd lost my faith in America. They elected Bush twice. They elected the Senate and the Congress with the Republicans. I had lost my faith. Although no American I know ever admitted to voting for them, so I knew the wrong Americans, that's for sure. But the kids and the youth I saw on the streets in New York, and Camilla was there with us, it was so amazing to see them actually want action. And so that I have great faith in the youth and am very supportive of that. The last point I'll make is on the slogan that we chose, 00, which we just heard seems to have resonated very well. I have a personal third zero, which is zero patience. I've been coming to these COPs for 20 years. Yeah, we have to stop. We haven't done a damn thing in 20 years if you compare it to the problem. So I have zero patience with what we need to do, not even in a generation, now. We need to do it now. Thank you very much.
Godfather of Development and Climate Days says he has zero patience. We all need to be careful. You know what we have to do the coming year. Camilla, please share your closing remarks.
Well, with Saleem urging us all to be impatient, I don't really want to hold you for more than a couple of minutes. But what a day. Well, what a weekend. And what a great final panel, full of observation, full of energy, full of insights. Maarten and I agreed to divide the task of wrapping up these fantastic 2 days. I'm meant to offer a summary of the substance, and Maarten will do the formal thanks. Well, that's a task which is well beyond me. We've had such incredible richness. All I want to do is to make 3 very short points. First, I've learnt some new maths over the weekend. I've learned that 0 plus 0 makes 1 future world. So that's really important, good maths. And I'm delighted that that seems to resonate, the 00 message, both with people in this room and hopefully much, much more broadly. I think we need to find that clear, simple, shared language which we can take to all of the big events over the next year and beyond, and which offers really positive, clear signals for the direction of travel towards an inclusive, low-carbon economy. Because as we heard, whether we go for 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, whatever our temperature target, the ultimate long-term goal has to be 0 emissions. Second point, because of our inertia and inability to make significant progress with cuts to greenhouse gases, we've got a hell of a lot of momentum in the global climate system. Many more typhoons, many more droughts, many more floods. And that means we need a lot more adaptation now for now, as well as a lot of mitigation now for the future. And as we heard yesterday afternoon, we need much more radical, transformatory action on adaptation, which means far-reaching, long-term investment with resources that are truly commensurate with the scale of risk and damage. And we need a major shift from adaptation as the sum of lots of individual parts to a much more macro approach and to broader investment in public goods. And much of that needs to be done at the local level through municipal and district level government and combined with social protection. And to make that happen needs long-term flexible finance. Third, as we heard again just now, we need to be realistic about vested interests. Yesterday, Farhana taught us yet more maths, which is if we want one future world, we need zero poverty, zero emissions, but also zero tolerance of corruption and vested interests. That means we need to be bold, impatient, and intolerant of bad governance. That means organisation and being noisy. Not just youth, but old people can be noisy too, I hope. We need to re-energise public action. After a generation of market fundamentalism, I think we're gradually beginning to understand and get understood the importance of public action. Michael described what the ideal functions of a politician might be, but we haven't seen politicians behaving ideally. It is the right and proper place of government to tackle market failure and to take broader social and long-term issues into account. Governments have failed over the past generation, and we, this generation, have failed to hold them properly to account. But 0-0 within a generation demands public collective action over the next generation. Governments won't act for the many unless we break the grip of powerful lobbies on how decisions are made. So big mobilization is terribly important. Citizen action has to be a major part of that. Now, I know that Maarten will do the formal thank yous, but I did want to recognize, firstly, all of the organizations involved in putting this event together, and secondly, I wanted to recognize the godfather of D&C days, our own dearly beloved Saleemul Hook. As IIED's outgoing director, and remember, you've got 24 hours to put in your application for this job, only 24 hours. As IIED's outgoing director, I'm always blown away by the enormous respect and recognition that IIED staff have got at different events like COP, Rio, the CBA workshop, and so on. So I did want to thank all my colleagues at IIED, but also all of the people who've put together such a fantastic event. I think we've really started something at this meeting. I think 0-0 is going to be that big message that helps us galvanize energy across the world and will make Lima truly that big stepping stone on the path to Paris.